Hello and welcome to the Weekend Spread presented by the Schooner Pod. I'm your host Bobby Howard. With me we got Jameson, Ty, and Boaton Blake, of course, triumphant after his Frogs upset Baylor. We have a two-time field rusher. Hopefully that doesn't legally implicate you, Blake.
It does not. It does not. I had a piss poor gambling weekend last week. Weekend spread, but look, if I have to sacrifice that in order to get a TCU win, especially against our rival, I'll take it any day of the week. Chandler Morris, the future. I'm telling you, Mordecai and Morris could be doing better than the OU quarterbacks that are currently on their roster. I don't know. Did y'all get rid of the
Spencer
wrong
Rattler,
guy? But
Rattler's at least the fourth.
Because he told the truth.
Hey, Blake, you know how you said TCU this whole season has been kicking you in the balls and then giving you just a little bit of hope after it each time? Are you feeling that sliver of hope now? Are you back on the boat?
Yeah, but now it's more like it was the sliver of hope under Gary, but now that we have like an actual like target of where we're going with our coaching hire, plus the fact that like the players are still bought in, it helps me feel a little bit better that we're not going to have like horrible attrition come next year whenever, like, I think a lot of guys are still going to leave, but like wins like that fire, like, and have the stadium fired up and everything shows that people are still behind this program, that a guy like Chandler Morris, like, I pray, like, Zach Evans is probably going to leave, Quentin Johnston's going to probably leave, but I want Chandler Morris to be there because he is our future, because my God, is that man electric. He doesn't have the best fundamentals, but he just is a gamer, and he knows how to make the right decisions, and I just don't, like, he's just a gamer. It's like, it's one of those, like, mini kind of Johnny Manziel type, like, you know, he's not the best football player, but it's just like what he was doing. He had 531 yards that entire game. Like, he was just making every right play. I love him. I hope this continues. I hope.
So when I said that Duggan was the problem, I was right.
Because it's so bad because Duggan has been injured, and like really when he was injured had the best game of one of his best games of his life versus OU, and so now we have this like kind of like Duggan coming back is like probably just as good as him. So where do we want to go? And like you don't want to kick a guy to a curb after he's done 3 years like worth of work, but maybe he's already thinking about wanting to transfer, and we just kind of let that happen and just have Chandler Morris take over because – and the Emperor Zerg uniforms are 2-0 now. We're 2-0 in the Zergs.
The Zergs. I love it. That makes me so happy.
The Zergs were different this year. I have an Emperor Zerg, but they've changed the numbers to all red now. So it's like the red is slowly taking over, that we're just going to eventually make it our primary color.
There you go. It I look, yeah, you're adding on Chandler, like OU quarterbacks. You're adding red into your uniforms. I'm just saying, it's working pretty good for y'all. So the more you're on an OU podcast every week, so that's there you go. There's nothing wrong with the Sooners. Just inject a little bit in there. But all right, enough preamble. Let's dig into this slate, guys. We have this game, I guess. It's a bit of a weird. It's a bit of a weird one. We got the AP. All rankings are AP because we don't have a CFP yet. The number 21 NC State Wolfpack at number 13 ranked Wake Forest. My beloved Demon Deacons finally lost It was a wild card showdown with me and Blake. They got screwed. They almost pulled it off. It was tough, but you know, every great story has to end, and Wake Forest wouldn't be Wake Forest if they were good. So yeah, but they're bouncing back. The line Wake Forest -2. Lines all provided by our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code TPPN. Jameson, you are still in the lead at 46-47. I'm on your heels though. I'm back on your heels, so you'll have to have a good week. Let's get us started. Who do you got?
This is a bad one for me because I haven't looked at NC State as much whenever Blake got me on their bandwagon at the beginning. I put them as my wild card in week 2, and then they trashed it. So I'm going to go with Wake Forest because I did watch them a lot versus UNC, and they did lose. And their defense obviously is concerning. But Sam Hartman's, like you said, he's playing really well, honestly. And I've been impressed by him. Give me Wake at home by 2 because of the quarterback.
Yeah, no, I'm with Wake here too, because obviously, but here's my thing. UNC, they were the favorites last week, and honestly, like Wake didn't perform that poorly. They blew the lead, of course, but at the same time, I thought they played pretty good. I think they are still a legitimately kind of good football team and are going to bounce back here. They're still undefeated in ACC play because the UNC game didn't count as a conference game. They're still in the driver's seat for the ACC championship. So give me the Demon Deacons to bounce back big here.
Y'all wrong. Why are you trusting a team with no defense? They allowed over 600 yards last week to kind of like a underwhelming UNC team. This team has been winning coin flip games all year. That every single mediocre opponent, they've gone down to the wire with them and have just won that final coin flip at the end of the game. They were blowing huge. I think they blew like a 16-point lead last week. Like this team can't hold anybody. In NC State, this is a huge game when it comes to ACC title, like how the ACC title is determined. Because if NC State wins this, they're in the driver's seat to make it to the ACC title game over Wake because they'll own the tiebreaker for that. So this is a huge game, and Dave Doran, NC State's coach, hasn't won 10 games yet while he's at NC State, but this year they actually have a chance. And I've been saying it since before week 0 when I came on and said one of my 3 win total locks was NC State over 6.5. It was the easiest one. This team is actually really good. They play well on offense, well on defense. I'm going to take a more well-rounded team here over just kind of like this air raid Wake attack. They have to score on every play because their defense can't stop anything. So I just don't trust that. I'm not going to let that leaky defense ruin my weekend. Give me the coked out Wolves. My favorite Wolf is the one they used earlier this season that was just clearly horny. Horn dog is my favorite Wolf. Anyways, Ty, who do you got?
I love out of the 2 mascots, Blake picked the wolf as the one that's coked out.
Not the deacon. The deacon is a man of the Lord.
We have ourselves a party from the 80s here, and it's just everybody is. But yeah, I gotta say, I agree with. I gotta say it. As much as it pains me to say, it doesn't pain me to say it that much, but I agree with Blake. And NC State has also just been trickling by the random opponents on their slate. They've been winning games by like 7-8 points, which is not impressive.
Which is more than what Wake Forest has been.
Yeah, but Wake Forest has a lower number next to their name. NC State is like our opinions of NC State are based entirely on beating Clemson, which I got burned on that one. I faded NC State on that. Clemson, obviously abysmal now, but outside of that Clemson win, there's not a whole lot. They beat Louisiana Tech, Boston College. They lost to Miami. They beat Louisville without, what's his name, RG3 or whatever, their Heisman winning quarterback, and then they beat Florida State. So
wait, no, Malik Cunningham 100% played that game.
No, that's not the joke that was there, but it's all right. I just legitimately forgot his name, so I had to audible.
Lamar Jackson.
Hey, at least he didn't forget Dak Prescott this time.
Yeah, good old Zach. Who could forget Zach after his stellar performance this weekend? Anyways, give me Wake.
2 touchdowns.
Here's the
Garbage
thing.
time.
Blake said it himself, right? Wake has been favored in these games. They've been trickling by these opponents. They're going to trickle by like 3 or 4. Give me the Wake cover.
Love it. Moving on to the SEC, we have the number 11 Texas A&M Aggies at Ole Miss. The
Texas A&M's the favorite.
A&M is favorite.
Yeah, A&M's the favorite.
That's old Texas A&M is what I meant.
Oh god.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is favored by 2. No, okay, so yeah, Texas A&M is favored by 2. Look, Rebels bounced back pretty good against Hugh Freeze, kind of decently, they covered. This is a pretty massive game in terms of SEC West implications. Texas A&M still in the hunt for a potential trip to Atlanta if Alabama goes down, for example, at Auburn. It's possible. So, Ty, any chance the Aggies keep up this hot streak and get the win? Who do you got?
Yeah, so I had a momentary sort of point of confusion there when I thought that I had a terrible line and that Ole Miss was the favorites. I really like Ole Miss +2 here. I think A&M, I understand their Bama win. I'm a big Bama, promoter. I believe that they could probably beat any team in the nation about half the time, just on Saban alone, even with a less than impressive team player-wise. But I think that A&M is getting a lot of clout for beating Bama, which they should, even when it's an off year for Bama. OU fans are still riding that 2013 or 14 Sugar Bowl or whatever. They still play that in Walmart. So, I'm one to criticize kicking Bama while they're down. But I like Ole Miss here. I like Ole Miss in an offensive game, which is, hopefully what's going to occur, because I think if we get into shootout territory, I like Kiffin, I like Coral Reef, and I like Ole Miss, especially as the underdogs here. So I'm not going to say Ole Miss outright, but I love Ole Miss +2 here.
I like it. Sorry, Blake, who do you got?
Yeah, we've seen this game once this year, and it's called Ole Miss Auburn because Texas A&M and Auburn are the same team. Auburn won that game pretty handily because they cannot. Ole Miss, they're really good against the bad teams. They struggle against good defensive opponents, and even kind of the mid-tier opponents, they're barely squeaking out wins. We saw it last week. They struggled. Liberty honestly contained this offense, and Liberty's not a defensive powerhouse or is known to be whatsoever. Auburn contained them relatively well. A&M, I think, is the better version of Auburn. You got a stronger defensive front. You got Zach Calzada, I think, a little bit more improved offense. I don't think it's much more, but really, Ole Miss hasn't been the fireworks show like we thought they were going to be this year in the SEC. We had that one Arkansas Ole Miss game where they put up a whole bunch of yards, a whole bunch of points, but they struggle against good defenses. I'm taking defense in this one. Give me Texas A&M, and also, just like Bobby said, the motivation factor that they could still win the SEC West. I think that just pushes them over the edge.
Yeah, I'm with you, Blake. I think Texas A&M is just the better, more well-rounded team. Ole Miss, I think this will be a very good game. I think the line is perfectly set here, and there's a lot of appeal to potentially taking a home dog here. But I think this is very toss-up-y. But in a toss-up, you pick the better team, and I think Texas A&M is the better all-around team, defensively, offensively, coaching-wise. I think Jimbo has an edge there as well. So give me A&M to get the road win and the cover. Jameson?
This is actually probably, I'll say it, this is the most confident I am of all these lines, and I love Texas A&M here. And this is why. I watched the Ole Miss Liberty game. That was my 11 o'clock game of choice on the big screen. And although Ole Miss was, passing all over Liberty, Liberty just looked like crap. Honestly, they just looked like fool's gold, and I was not impressed. And one thing that I did see is the Matt Corral of the beginning of the season that was running all over the place does not look like the Matt Corral that he was at this point. It feels like Lane Kiffin is run him into the ground. I think I saw something they said on the cast that he ran for 30 carries in one of the games a couple games ago. This poor quarterback's getting hit so hard, and he does not have that it factor. Texas A&M just held Auburn to 3 points. Give me Calzada, Weidermeyer, and Texas A&M offense to do just enough in their defense to hold Ole Miss probably to around 20 points. Give me 27-20 Texas A&M.
Okay, I like it. Now let's dig into the big old pile of crap that is the Big 12. Sorry, wrong one. Next up,
he's trying to get me.
I was not trying. I was not trying to misdirect. Next up, we got West Virginia at Kansas State. The Wildcats favored by 6. Bit of an interesting line. I'm not sure where I fall on these two teams, but Jameson, who do you got?
I don't know at all. This is just ugly. Who here, raise your hand if you're excited to watch this game on Saturday.
I'm not going to.
I see no hands because none of us, like Bobby said, is going to watch it. There's no way. And it just K-State, I just feel like I've been fading them the whole year and they keep on proving me wrong. So I'm going to pick West Virginia.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
Just keep fading them, and it'll figure itself out. What? Man,
No!
I don't know.
this game is 11 a.m. on
It's so nasty.
11 a.m. on
God.
FS1. Oh boy!
Oh God, I want to change my pick now. Screw it. I've already said it. I'm not using my take backsies. Actually, should I? We get one this whole season.
The one mulligan. Yeah.
So you're gonna use it on just a
K
gross
State,
game?
West
Don't do it, James.
Don't do it.
No, do
Jameson.
it. Do it. Do it. Do it now, Anakin. Do it.
I've heard 2 do-its and no, don't do it.
Well, because I said
I'm doing it. Give me the mulligan. I'm going to go back to the Kansas State side. We're mulliganing it. Oh, man.
Oh.
It hurts so bad.
So Jameson is mulliganed. So you're going with K-State?
Yes, I am.
I've
I've yet to use my pot of greed, but I've used my mulligan now.
Which, by the way,
You can't pot of greed
you
the
have to
regular
you have to
way.
use pot of greed. By the way, by the end
Oh,
of the
I know.
season.
I'm saving it. I'm saving
So
it.
if you do not use pot of greed, you are forced to use it
Wait,
on conference
we did-
championship week.
To be fair, we didn't specify that you couldn't pot of greed during the regular slate, which would then force everyone else to also pick your game.
No, we're not doing
Wait,
it.
no. You can't add a pot of greed
All right,
that is
pot
the
of
game.
greed. Rutgers, Indiana. I'm picking.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and get on this one. I've been backing the Wildcats this entire season. This is my cycles of Kansas State have kind of been like that really old pug, that the no bones day pug. And this is a bones year for Kansas
Good
State.
tweet, bad tweet. Good tweet, bad tweet.
Good. Oh, that's a bad one. Oh God. Yeah, no, I'm going with K-State to have a bones day. Get the win here. I think they've kind of bounced back, and 6 points at home. I'll take it. Fading the Mountaineers. I've been fading them all season. Gonna keep that up again. Blake, who do you got?
After Jameson jumped ship, I'm hopping on the ship he jumped off of. Give me West Virginia. This team is weird. This team is weird on the road, and I don't get it. At home, they've sucked, but we saw what happened at OU. We saw what happened at TCU. They do these weird road performances, and I'm just gonna go. It's they're the zigzag team. It's 1 week they'll come out super flat. The next week they'll come out and just blast an opponent they're not supposed to beat. So they got embarrassed last week. So let's blast Kansas State this week. This is such a bad game. Give me West Virginia.
You should have given us Kansas, Texas.
So let's do some fact checking here. West Virginia has one road win this year. Take a guess who it was.
But
It
we're
was
talking
TCU,
covered.
It was TCU.
Covered.
But I'm saying
but
they
in terms
also,
of covering,
but they also,
yeah.
they've been sneaky against OU, obviously, coming into Norman, and I don't think they covered against Baylor. I think they just got blown out there. But
They lost by 25. So yeah, you're right. They are sneaky with covers.
my zigzag strategy is they're weird. They'll come out they'll upset Iowa State, get blown out by OSU. So I'm hoping for that zag back.
How was that weird? Nothing about what you said was weird.
I think they're gonna zig
It
back
is
to.
weird.
You think they're gonna
This team
zig back to
makes no
beating K-State?
They weirdly got blown out by Oklahoma State.
Oh, you should never get blown out by Oklahoma State. You lose by 3 to them, not 21.
Especially at
Like,
home.
losing. Okay, yeah. All right, whatever.
Ty, who do you
Spencer
got?
Sanders.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? It's a flight longer than 2 hours.
Oh god.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Give me. I'm not. Give me K-State. It's also changing time zones though. Ooh, magical. Give me K-State -6.
Wait, have we thought about what daylight savings time does to West Virginia?
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
I'm waiting until we get a game that's like less than 50 miles apart, and Bobby brings up the weather again.
Hey Siri,
I'll take the L.
what's the weather like in Manhattan, Kansas?
Yeah. No, well, Pittsburgh and Manhattan are very different locales weather-wise.
Altitude. All right, let's move on to Iowa State at Texas Tech. Cyclones favored by 10.5. Ty, who do you got?
Give me the Cyclones. Easy. I had sort of some notes. I feel like this one doesn't deserve notes. It's at Tech. They got a Chimmy's major advantage. But Iowa State players are lame enough to not know what that is or know about underage drinking. So give me Iowa State -10.5.
Iowa State, they're not like swayed by margaritas. They just go straight for the grain alcohol. That is their the Hawkeye vodka. That's their
chili and Bush.
Chili, Bush, and Hawkeye vodka.
Bush like
I just feel like just saying chili. Am I the only one? Whenever you just said chili and Bush by itself, just got like a really like, ugh, my god,
There
that
are
just sounds
two
just so
things.
nasty.
I did not think Iowa State players like to eat.
No.
I did not think of chili and Bush. I think of the bush. She's around the hrum. Whenever you said that.
Oh God.
Oh God.
No,
Okay,
okay,
Blake, you go.
Schooner
I'm
caught
getting-
after dark.
I'm getting weird this week. I'm going Texas Tech +10.5. It's not
Blake's pulling a
October no
Dan Mullen.
more.
He's pulling a Dan Mullen and just throwing.
It's not October no more. Give me the Red Raiders.
Why?
This is such a nasty game. You just hope like they can show like I'm looking at Texas Tech's schedule like. West Virginia has shown some life in some games. I don't think Texas Tech has really like shown life in any game this season. But hey, the news of Joey McGuire getting hired, I think that's a great hire for Texas Tech, and hopefully that juices. Wait, what?
No, I'd just go.
He's not like there, is he?
He's not there.
I know, but
He's
it's
not
like
Clay
juice up the
Helton.
program. It's like juice up the program. It's like, you know, a good guy. They're playing for him. They know who the head coach is, so they know they're getting coached next year. So go out there, play for him, try to get a roster spot, and just hope that the back door hits.
They're like, I know some random old dude in Waco is going to coach us, so now I'm fired up. Let's go.
Yep.
You
have to.
identical.
You got to
they have
make the
an
roster.
identical- Oh, you can go. Blake.
I don't know what's going on with my
No,
video.
I was gonna
by
say
the way.
Tech has an identical closing to their Big 12 plays every year. Like it's Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Baylor, but they're unlike OU. They're gonna get boat raced.
Okay, so
Bobby's on like X8, fast forward, and he's just like Ty's talking his.
Okay. Not just random. Shout out to the random Weston Shepherd profile picture there.
All right, Bobby,
God.
can I just
Okay.
pencil you in for Iowa State?
Okay, no, let me just. I actually have some things I want to talk about with Iowa State. So first of all, Texas Tech garbage. No.
He's got some
First
good
of all,
notes here.
Texas Tech is garbage. Second of all, they hired a man, triple underline, a man who still goes by the name of Joey. I don't trust a grown man named Joey. Go call yourself Joe or Joseph.
You go by Bobby.
I'm 26. I'm not a man yet. I don't have gray hair.
How are you not a man? You're 26.
I'm not like an old
You're
man.
a little boy? Are you a little boy? still?
I'm not like an old. Not only that, but hold on. Bobby's. Hold on. Bobby. No, Bobby. I will defend this. Bobby is different than Joey.
I
It's
don't
not-
think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Maybe glass stones. Okay. I'm gonna back off then because Anyways,
That was tough.
that was a tough look. But I will say I think Texas Tech is garbage. I do not see any direction with them. But Iowa State, really showed a lot for me, and I think they're still trying to scrape out whatever bit of a whatever.
What are they scraping out, Bobby? They lost to West Virginia 2 weeks ago. They're not scraping anything. They're
OSU
scraping
can
the
lose.
bottom of the barrel.
I don't know. Okay, so maybe they're bottom of the barrel scraping. Texas Tech sucks. Iowa State's gonna win and cover. Give me the Cyclones. That's all I gotta say.
I think we've talked plenty. I will pencil myself in for Iowa State, and let's move on to the wonderful game that we have next that I'm very excited to hear our analysis on, Bobby.
Yes, we have TCU at Oklahoma State. The Cowboys favored by 13. Jameson, big win for the Frogs last week. Do they keep up the momentum and make it this game interesting in Stillwater?
This is tough. This is tough for me because I feel like both teams probably in the eyes of Vegas are kind of inflated a little bit. Oklahoma State's offense, from last week, they had a really good game, but are really that good. TCU, Chandler Morris came out, played electric, but he ain't going to get 500-plus yards again. He's going to be going against a really good defense in Oklahoma State, and I think he might have some troubles versus them. I think he's really talented. I think he's a guy that we believed in whenever he was at OU, and we were calling for and cheering for him whenever he'd come in with trick plays and do really well. I'm going to go Oklahoma State minus 13. I don't know how they're going to score that many points, but I think that Chandler Morris is not going to have the day that he had last week versus Baylor secondary.
Yeah, look, Chandler Morris might be the future for TCU, and I really do think he's a damn good quarterback, and TCU found a pot of gold there. But this sort of thing doesn't travel. You don't have the emotionally charged rivalry game, just off of, Gary Patterson getting the axe. I think last week was a very special circumstance, and that sort of thing just doesn't move on to the next game, let alone on the road, Boone Pickens Stadium. OSU's on a mission. They still have a lot ahead of them, and I think they get this win. I think they get the cover, and TCU, well, last week was a bit of a Cinderella. They're a pumpkin again. So Frogs get just blown out here. So Blake, who you got?
Wrong.
Against wrong. You know why I'm all over this. Spencer Sanders.
But he's back on the boat.
Spencer Sanders trying to cover a 13-point spread versus a team not Kansas. They were 13 points favorites over Tulsa and couldn't even cover that. I ain't trusting that. This is the same OSU team we've seen all year, the exact same one. And the one thing I will give hope about TCU is even though it seems like one of those wins that's you just kind of had everything go your way, we dominated Baylor last week. We dominated them on offense and defense. The box score, honestly, we should have beaten them by more. We should have beaten Baylor by significantly more. And, the one thing I'll say is different about this TCU team versus the ones that we've seen earlier in the season is the defense is finally putting pressure on the quarterback. We saw it against Gary Bohannon last week. They're making him feel very uncomfortable in the backfield, which kind of led to some of the turnovers we were able to get, ultimately the one that we were able to win the game. And I think Baylor is a really good football team, and I know they were probably kind of looking ahead towards the game this week, but the fact that we finally got pressure for the first time all year versus actually a really good team makes me think this OSU team that kind of struggles to score points, if we can just make them feel uncomfortable a little bit, 13 points is a lot of points. TCU could easily lose this game. I'm hoping we do I'm hoping we win just so we can maybe get a bowl appearance this year, Cheez-It Bowl or some other random one, but I just feel 13 points, Spencer Sanders, too many points with the TCU team that is finally, I feel, reinvigorated. Give me TCU.
Okay. Ty, who do you got?
I got the brightest orange in this one. They're at Stilly. I think TCU, big win, big news. I think there's a hangover there. Give me the Cowboys to take this one minus 13.
This is turning into a really interesting week because Blake is on an island of picks of 4 of the 5 that we picked so far. On an island with TCU.
Yeah, but some of those are bad.
On an island with NC State.
Is
the
this
West
a
Virginia
strategy?
one too.
That might be the only way to explain Texas Tech. Is just intentional islanding.
After the
Hail
West
Mary
Virginia
point.
pick, after the West Virginia pick, I wanted to get weird, just real weird with it.
I love
Those
it.
are the
I
two.
love it.
The two games I had no analysis for coming into those were the West Virginia and the K-State. Like West Virginia, K-State, Iowa State, Texas Tech. Those are just two horrible games that I hope I don't have to watch, but probably will end up watching. But
there you go. All right, moving on to the game of the week that I think actually this time everyone's excited for. Number 4 in the AP poll, Baylor at Oklahoma number 4 OU at Baylor. Sooners favored by 5.5 on the road. Ty, this is a massive test for OU. Baylor's the toughest team OU's played by far. Do you think the Sooners go on the road, get the win, get the cover?
Yes, I guess I don't disagree that the Baylor's the toughest team we've played. I think for the rest of the year, until we get into past the Big 12 championship, I think Red River is the toughest game. So I think we're over the hill on that. But beside that potentially contentious note, I think that I'm super happy that we have this line. I'm really surprised, especially coming off a Baylor loss, in OU finally doing decent against the team. You know, we beat Tech better than we did, obviously bye week. You know, we didn't lose, but I really like 5.5 for OU here because I don't think that it's going to be that close. I think OU is going to be disappointing in how close the game is, but I could see this being like a 10-point game the entire time, and OU just kind of letting them hang around. So I really like OU minus 5.5 here.
Okay, awesome. Blake, you've been big on Gary Bohannon and your semi Bears. Do you think they pull off the upset?
I don't think upset, but 5.5 points to me is just too many points versus an OU team that really hasn't had like their statement wins against Power 5 opponents have been TCU, who had obviously fired their coach a few weeks later, and Texas Tech, who also fired their coach. It's like their two kind of blowout wins are against these two kind of like zombie teams, and everybody else they've seemingly played close. And if you look at the Pro Football Focus metrics, these teams are pretty similarly graded, like OU being a little bit better on offense, a little bit better on defense, but 5.5 points at home, there's been nothing this year that has made me think an OU team like this can go on the road and just blow a team out because they haven't done it yet. And so I'm just not going to trust, like I can't trust OU in this situation, and kind of just praying for a good game, so give me Baylor.
Yeah, and if this line was something like 10, I would be heavy on Baylor, but I feel like OU, given the bit of disrespect the playoff committee handed them this week and this past week, will come out firing. I think they'll be very very focused. They looked more focused against Texas Tech, who again was just a dead fish, but I think OU is going to come out and really try to make a statement in this game, which, you know, can be bad. You know, you can cause that can cause you to make mistakes. But I think for this OU team, they're going to lock in and get a comfortable, solid win and cover this 5.5 points. I think it's going to be a very good game for sure. This is a pretty good line.
Yeah, so if y'all listened to our Baylor preview where we pretty much just talked a little bit about Baylor and then a lot about the situation of OU, I said that I really liked OU coming out and having another statement win. And Blake, I'll say this, yes, 2 of the games that we had statement wins, there's a coaching change happening, but guess what's there's also a coaching change on the precipice right now in Baylor. He's going off to Texas Tech. I understand it's different.
Associate head coach. It's not It's not one of the big fishes. He's more of a recruiter there and like kind of like a tight end. He might do quarterbacks. I know he just does some of the smaller positions, but he's not like
quarterback.
No, yeah, he's a big time recruiter.
Did you say quarterback is one of the smaller positions?
Or he's just a positions coach. Like he's the associate head coach plus a positions coach. But
why did Tech hire this guy again?
He's a really good recruiter, and he was like, like Wilson said it best to me, Jeff Traylor light. He's the high school football coach that knows everybody in the area.
Mhm.
And kind of like, if you're not going to hire an offensive or defensive genius, get a guy that knows how to recruit and how to connect with the guys and acts as more of a CEO type, and then hire good coordinators to kind of back him up.
OU considered him. I don't know how seriously, but he was in the talks for Shane Beamer's position because he is like a guy who is very, very highly thought of at Texas. So as a Texas Tech hire in the recruiting aspect of that, there's going to be a lot of 3-star Texas guys that kind of get hidden under that he's going to know about that other people won't.
And also, whenever Dave Aranda was getting hired, like every single player was advocating for McGuire to get hired at the Baylor position. So he's a player favorite type coach. Like everybody loves him that comes into contact with him.
Which is a good thing as a head coach to be, is, kind of a recruiter, to kind of be, a leader in that sense. Somewhat like a Herm Edwards in a way, but like in the reverse.
Like a Roy Manning.
Like a Roy, yeah. Basically where you're just popular and you recruit people. Or Coach O. That didn't go wrong.
Oh, there we go.
Look, if you can convince people to go to freaking Lubbock, you can sell water to a fish. Sorry, Jameson, you go for it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Oklahoma because I think we complete this game. Like I said, I think the hugest part to watch in this game is our cornerbacks. I think if Key Lawrence can replicate what he did in his last game, where he showed that he can be a number one cornerback on a team, I think that's going to be absolutely huge because we've been saying this whole year, and even though Gary didn't have a good game last week, he's a guy who's got good zing on the ball, can make good throws, and he's going to put up some points whether we play good on defense or not. But give me OU here. I think we win by double digits. Give me OU by 10 and have a little bit of a feel-good win moving into an Iowa State game that is going to be a battle.
Absolutely. All right. A lot of love for the Sooners here, and, one Baylor.
And Blake's on an island again.
Island Crowley. Or Island Blake. Bowden Blake has marooned himself on an island. I love it.
This is going to be a make-or-break week. This is either I can gain a lot of traction or lose it all.
Yeah, I love it.
Versus probably one of our worst lates we've had yet.
It's very on brand for Blake. But moving on to our favorite pick of the week, the wild card. Gotta love it. There are still 2 pot of greens on the board with Jameson and Blake. Jameson, you're gonna start us off. Who do you got?
So yeah, Michigan State was a bad pick last week. I probably knew it deep down, but I didn't. Let's talk about trends. I like to go back to the honey hole, and I decided to
Texas State.
Honey hole.
Yes, I was in a nice haram of honey a couple weeks ago, and I was fading Wyoming, and then I decided to get off that honey hole at a good time, and I came out on top whenever they did cover the spread last week. But guess what? They go to Boise on Friday night, 8 o'clock on the blue turf as a 14-point dog. Give me Boise State with a big win, coming off a big win from Fresno at home, starting to pick up, the momentum with a little bit of a choppy midseason, But I don't like Wyoming. I see Boise. I'm going to hop on the train again because it just feels great.
Okay, there you go. Fading Wyoming again. Back to your old dastardly tricks.
Oh wait, Bobby, can you hit me with a pot of greed, please?
Oh shit!
You never saw this coming. I summoned pot of greed.
Okay, and I decided I want to get this over with, get it in. I'm going to pick Alabama minus 51.5 versus New Mexico State.
No! I thought about it. It's not mine, but I really thought about it.
And this is why, because Alabama has been struggling. The game versus LSU was bad, but what the heck? New Mexico State is miserable, and I feel like 51.5, it should be easy money. Let's talk about New Mexico State's past game. They played Utah State and lost by 22. They played Hawaii, lost by 14. They lost to Nevada by 27. Like, come on, give me Alabama 51.5. Let's ride.
I'm pretty sure they played Hawaii twice and lost both times.
Yeah, they did.
Which is,
I will say, okay, I was slandering New Mexico State at the beginning of the year. Week 0, I brought up the whole Dixie State, Tarleton State thing about how they just got completely slanged last year versus FCS teams. But I will say they have performed better than I thought. I don't say that's good, but just better than I previously had thought. They kept it close, I think, against like San Jose State.
Yeah, the bar is at like the floor, but at the same time, they have one win. They beat South Carolina State the team who started the 40-year-old running back that one time.
I like it. I straight up like that. But that was in serious running for my, because it's so like it's such a meme. It's such a gamer moment, as Blake would say, to pick that. So
yeah. So okay, let's move Pot of Greed off of here. He is gone. Because I've used mine already. So good luck with your Pot of Greed there, Jameson.
Thank you.
So last week, Purdue running up against Michigan State, it seemed too obvious. Seemed way too obvious, right?
yeah, because Michigan State is trash.
And they are, and they lost because it turned out to not be good. Well, now everyone's on the meme again about, Purdue is out for blood against Ohio State. The Buckeyes looked horrible against Nebraska. And you know what? Give me Purdue Pete to cover 20 points in the horseshoe against Ohio State. Let's get weird with it. 20 seems way too much for me. This might just... I know this seems like an obvious trap, like a little honeypot, under a little trap. But you know what? I don't care. I need that Purdue Pete. I need to bet on my guy Purdue Pete to try to take another soul this weekend. Give me Purdue plus 20. Blake?
Bobby, going back to the well. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I gotta highlight some more Mountain West action like I usually do when it comes to my wild card pick. We got kind of the decider to who goes to the Mountain West Championship this week in San Diego State and Nevada. Give me my Wolfpack. +2, I'm going back to there. I've just been backing my boy Carson Strong all year, but I actually wanted to take this little segment, not to highlight the Nevada Wolfpack, but if I had a Heisman vote, who would be my Heisman pick?
Ooh.
And that's Matt Ariza, the punter for San Diego State.
Yep.
We are seeing an actual GOAT, a living GOAT, perform this year in college football. This man is booming 81-yard punts, 86, and we're not talking about 81-yard punts that roll. We're talking about 80-yard punts in the air. This man can kick from his end zone and flip the field on you. That is how incredible he is, and it's one of those guys that's going to take, we saw it with the Florida State kicker. Who is he again? Aguayo?
Yeah.
Roberto
When they
Aguayo.
ever got...
R.I.P. Turtle.
I'm going to say it, if you're looking for a second-round pick, maybe Matt Ariza might be your guy, because he can literally just flip the field on a dime, and he's so accurate, too. He doesn't just boom it into the end zone. He actually, can down people within their 20 from his end zone, but give me Nevada +2. But I got another surprise. Bobby hit it.
You never saw this coming. I summoned Pot of Greed.
A double Pot of Greed!
We gotta go for the double Boat and Blake special. My other bandwagon team this year. Let's get our second dub. Put together a 2-win streak. Give me the UNLV Rebels. I about cried last week when they finally won a game for the first time in 2 years. I bet on them so many times money line, and they've lost me so much money. But win it back this week. Hawaii off island. I get that trend in my favor. We got it in Vegas. Give me UNLV. Let's get 2 wins. Get my future. Give me a money line bet and keep the trend of Hawaii off island on. Yes, give me it. I'm using this as my pot of greed. I didn't plan on this. I was just looking at the lines, but this is our only time to cash this ticket that I gave out at the beginning of the year. And Tate Martell has played 2 plays this year, but I still believe in this team. Give me the Rebs.
You said 3 points?
Three points.
Well, 3 points. 3 points. Yeah, sorry. 3 points.
DraftKings has it as UNLV +3. You can get UNLV money line at +140 right now. So, I also have the Tathan bet. So I've been really hoping for the running Rebs to turn it on, and this is just opportunities presented itself. So I'm really hopeful.
I've spent too much time this year watching college football on Stadium, a channel I have to pay extra on YouTube TV in order to watch a crappy broadcast of UNLV games. So I want this to hit. It's from the heart. I need this to hit. I've watched too much UNLV football for this not to hit. So give me UNLV.
no matter what happens, they need to make a one shining moment of the UNLV season.
Just barely losing games. It's been the most. There's been about 3 times where I could have won this bet, and it still hasn't happened.
I definitely stayed up to like maybe 1 a.m. watching them like almost beat someone like pretty decent one night on like a Friday night on CBS.
San Jose State, probably.
San Jose State, yes. That one was very painful. But this is our moment. You got Hawaii it kicks off at 3 p.m. Central Time. So
that's time zone. That's wacky. They're gonna be all. They won't know what time it is.
They'll be big time discombobulating for sure. So I love it. I love it, Blake. I love it. So I kind of thought you were going to go with that for your main wild card. So I'm happy to see the pot of greed pulled out there. No more pot of greeds. They're off the table. Ty, the originator of the pot of greed, you are up though. Who do you got as your wild card pick?
You ready for this? You know what else I'm the originator of?
What?
Picking a really bad
Oh!
Texas State, baby. Here's what you guys need to know, right? Right now in the standings, Jameson's in the lead. I'm in last place. Do you guys know why I won last year? It's because I revealed to Jameson the addictive substance that is betting Boko. And here's the thing about Boko. You will get run into the ground chasing the dragon with Boko. You got to hit it once or twice, but don't inhale. And that's what I'm about to do here. And hopefully, in doing so, I will not only get a win, but I will pique Jameson's interest. I will knock him off the wagon and get him right back on the Boko train and sabotage his entire season. Because Boko, again, our Texas State Bobcats, they're only 3-6 this year. They're playing Georgia Southern.
Only 3-6.
They won their first regulation game last weekend.
3-6 is pretty impressive for Boko. But here's what you need to know: Boko is 6-3 against the spread, and that's what we're picking here. Georgia Southern, on the other hand, is 2-7 against the spread. So what do we have on the spread? I'm pulling it off just ESPN for clarity because we're recording this on Monday.
I can pull it up for you. Okay.
Yeah, so
I have it at 2.5.
I have it
at 2.5.
2.5 on DraftKings, the sponsor that doesn't pay us.
Well, no,
Oh, man, they do.
They're going to pay us soon.
Yeah, okay, but
it's coming. It's coming. But first.
It's coming. 2.5 on.
Okay, yeah.
DraftKings
So I have Texas State minus 2.5, and I like this. I like this because Georgia Southern is also just 2-7 in their games. I'm not even going to click and look at their schedule. Texas State is one more game. Texas State did kind of decent. They lost against their FBS. Well, I guess they are FBS too. So, who knows?
Ty, what are your thoughts on the triple option?
Well, I'm a known Service Academy fan as well, so I think we all know where I stand on.
So you're betting against the triple option?
No, because you don't bet against Boko when he's got a juicy 2.5 line that's going to cause.
He's a favorite. I can't believe Boko's a favorite.
Boko's a favorite against the triple option.
Boko has not been the favorite all season. Give me Boko minus 2.5. Right? This is like Blake put himself out on the island this week as sort of a move. But here's the thing: is Blake's move was all risk for him. Obviously, high risk, high reward doesn't really play out in real life, but he pulled a high risk, high reward move, which is true the way he set himself up. But none of us lose anything if Blake misses here. If I miss here, it's one game, but if I hit here, this is going to throw Jameson's entire season off. So give me Boko minus 2.5.
You don't bring up addictive substances around an addict, and I'm a recovering addict. I just got my 1 month chip not too long ago.
The 1 month Boko chip with his little face on it.
And don't tell me I haven't had cravings. I scroll by every once in a while.
Oh god. Yeah, no, this is Ty just running by Jameson and injecting him.
No, but I actually like this one.
This Jesse Pinkman going to the AA or Narcotics Anonymous and eating their donuts and selling them drugs there.
Jameson, this
That
is
was
what's
good
gonna happen.
marketing.
Ty's pick's gonna hit, and then next week Jameson will have to consider Boko versus Coastal Carolina.
Oh no!
I'm telling you guys have no idea how strategic this move was.
It was.
I've
Oh
got,
man,
I've
that
got
was
to run.
brilliant.
Who is Wyoming playing next week? This is gonna be tough.
Just keep
Well, now-
just keep on
now-
Wyoming.
Now he's burned his pot of greed too, which is just
I thought his pot of greed was pretty good. So,
it was.
yeah, I think all the pot of greeds are pretty good. We've been
This
pretty
is,
solid
I will
this year.
say, it's Jameson's pot of greed is either the easiest cash ever, or some wild crap's gonna happen, and you're gonna come out with like a heart attack. Like it's gonna be, there is no in between. Like some random thing happens on special teams that gets New Mexico State the one score to cover.
Oh man,
I feel like you should get we'll get way too technical and we're done with the podcast here, but I feel like you should get like double wins. Like there should be like a bonus for picking a line above 50, just regardless of who it is.
because it's just such a move. We're gonna have something where like Alabama puts in. They'll put like just start pulling like old people from the stands who have eligibility. It'll be like running of the
Paul
Gumps.
Feinbaum, some snaps.
Have y'all ever seen the running of the Gumps, like the Texas the Alabama tradition where a bunch of Alabama fans sprint to go get a picture with Nick Saban? It's very beautiful. Just Google it.
It's a bunch of old people.
Oh yes, it's
That's
Oh, that
amazing.
sounds wonderful. I wish we had that for OU fans.
yeah. We used to, but we don't
It would
anymore.
just be people running at Lincoln Riley to like yell at him about coaching decisions and stuff.
Oh man. Well, guys, another week down. We move ever so closer to bowl season, and all of the pot of greeds are tapped. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Yeah, guys, I think that's it. So yeah, for me, Jameson, Ty, and Bowden Blake, this has been the Weekend Spread. We'll catch you next week when we break down another slate of college football, and of course, Iowa State at Oklahoma. Make sure to keep it tuned to the Schooner Pod. I almost said we'll keep you advised, but that's like Channel 4 or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign off. Y'all have a good week, and good luck out there. Nailed it.